Hey everybody, Tal here. I wanted to talk to you about toxic relationships, right? We see them everywhere. But why? Why do we get into these toxic relationships? What is the gist? So, here's my 2 cents about toxic relationships, and I have experienced them myself. What I can say about these relationships is that what happens within them is that the two people in this relationship are both ruled by their ego and they're blinded by it and they don't know how to rise above it. Okay. So that is a very basic explanation. Now, in our generation, the ego is grown to be so big and enormous that we're seeing more and more of these situations where people just cannot live together. Now, I just want to say, on a side note, that not every relationship is going to work out. Mm-mm. Some relationships are just too strenuous, too toxic, too dramatic. There's too much drama for them to actually work out in the long run. But even if you find the most harmonious relationship, the best partner, the most fitting situation, there's still going to be some level of toxicity inside of it if you don't learn how to treat it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to identify toxicity, where it comes from, how to know if this relationship you're in is just too much to handle and you should leave it, and what to do when you've decided that you're with the right person and you want to fix it. You want to know how. Okay, so first of all, toxic relationships, how do you identify it? It's really when two people get into so much fighting and so many hurt feelings and hurt situations that they're both, or at least one side, it's enough if just one side is suffering so much and is so depleted by the situation, by the relationship, that instead of creating life, creating love, strengthening both parties and helping them evolve, it's keeping them entrenched in fighting and energy depleting situations and so on. Okay, so I would say that is a toxic relationship. So obviously, all relationships have problems, especially in our times because the ego is growing more and more. So if you have these situations in your relationship, you're still okay, you're still fine. But if you're in a new relationship, you've gotten into one and you feel like all there is fighting, all there is drama, all there is negativity and draining, and the points of light within the relationship are very few, and you feel you cannot handle it anymore and it's just bad for you, I wouldn't say you should stick with it, because sometimes nature, spirit just wants to tell you to let go. Okay, there are such situations. However, if you're married, you have children, you're in a relationship that's really important for you to fix, or you know this is the right person for you, because most of the time you're great, but there are those times in your relationship that get kind of toxic and unpleasant. So here's what I have to say to you. Um, Again, everything comes from the ego. That is the culprit for all of our problems, especially relationship problems. So the first thing that we want to do is be able to see that and to accept that we both have an ego. What does that mean? It means we're both going to see things from our own perspective. We have our patterns that we come with to the relationship from our past, which is all the ways that we instinctively respond to the other person, the triggers that we have, things that hurt us, words we feel, triggered by. All of these things that come with this package that I would call our ego, our self. And initially, when we're entering a relationship, we're very far from one another. The hormones may be keeping us addicted to the relationship and very much in love, but we're still quite far. And it's after some time has passed, the relationship starts to be a bit more mellow because the hormones die down. And that's when we start to really see those triggers coming up, those fights, the distance between us becomes more apparent because we have not yet done the work to come closer. Now, how do we come closer? What does it mean to rise above our ego and make that distance gradually smaller? So this is really a constant work on yourself, and it should be done by both parties. But when we are wanting to create spiritual relationships, we always want to Remember that the other person is our mirror. And the other person, when we see their faults, it's not their faults that we're seeing, but rather our own egoism that has grown and is causing us to view the other person in such a way that is negative. If we were not reacting from our ego, looking from the eyes of our ego, we would be seeing from the eyes of love. And love is compassionate, it's understanding, it's forgiving, and it sees the root cause of things. It understands that this person has his reasons for behaving this way. It does not judge. And so when we are not able to see another person in this way and to understand the context of why he's behaving in this way, it's like we've fallen into this narrow tunnel vision that our ego is putting on us. So then every situation that occurs in a relationship that we feel critical, negative, angry, that sort of thing is really just an opportunity we are getting from spirit to choose love, to ask for help from above, to put on those glasses of love towards our partner. So that is it in a nutshell, really. The most basic rule to overcoming that toxicity is to remember that I'm the one who needs to change. I'm the one who needs to fix the way that I see the other. Of course, each person in the relationship needs to be doing this work for it to succeed, but that is the basic concept here. So next time you find yourself in a toxic situation in your relationship, or you're looking at your relationship, ask yourself, is this something that we can begin working on in our relationship? Can we try and bring mindfulness and acceptance of our egoistic nature so that we can begin to move beyond it? Can we start to do this work to bring more love, more light, more acceptance, more compassion, more of these tools into a relationship? If the answer is yes, then there is hope, and there's a lot you can do. If the answer is no, there's no willingness to do this work, then probably this relationship will stay toxic. So I want to send you a whole lot of love and light and encouragement. And I'm really praying from my little space here that you will have the best possible relationships that you can imagine, and that you're able to bring love into your life right now with your partner, or find the right partner with whom you'd be able to do this work, because really this is the greatest development and fulfillment that we can have in our life. And I really hope for all of us that we begin to do this work, even if it's just tiny baby steps of becoming aware of where we're judging, of where we're viewing our partner from that egoistic space. Even if we lash out and we get into the toxic situation, but later we have this kind of acknowledgement, that is all good because it's moving us forward. It's keeping us moving. So keep moving. Don't be hard on yourself. Remember, we're all here to learn how to love. We're all here to grow spiritually and evolve. And spirit wants to help you. It wants you to grow. And sometimes it will send you lessons to help you see what's not working so that you have a desire to change and to grow. So stay strong, stay happy, stay hopeful, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next video.